Hi, it's Dave Jones here again. Today we're going to look at some chords that everyone eventually needs to learn as they move from, say, what would be described as maybe a beginner player into the sort of intermediate type player. And these chords are called bar chords, and do cause a few problems when you first start. The easiest one to start with is this is based around an E major shape or an E chord. If you don't know this chord already, you need to check that out on the site under basic major chords. But so I'm not going to dwell too long on the E chord. But this is your regular E major chord. What you do to play a bar chord, you replace the fingering, or you change the fingering. So normally you're fingering with the fingers 1, 2, and 3. So you replace the fingers 2, 3, and 4. So your second finger is now on the G string at the first fret. Your third finger is on the A string at the second fret, and your little finger is on the D string at the second fret. And this leaves your first finger spare now to create the bar. Now, if you move those fingers up 1 fret each, so you're now on the second and third fret, you get this lovely Spanish sounding chord. And what you do with the first finger is you place it as near to the fret as you can, not on top of the fret, but as near to the fret as you can, flat across all the strings. You don't want to place your finger dead flat. You can roll it very slightly to achieve better clarity in the chord, so the bony part of your finger is slightly twisted and holding down all the strings, and that will give you an F chord. Now, on my website, sorry for the plug, but there's a list of E-shaped bar chords under the chord section. And what happens with these chords is, by moving them to different frets, you create different chords all the way up the guitar fingerboard until you get to the 12th fret, when you create another E chord, but what's called an octave higher. And the reason they work is because this is your regular E major chord's got an, you don't have to worry about this too much at the moment, it's got an E, a G sharp and a B in it. If you move them up a fret each and just play those 3 strings, you've got an F there, a C there and an A there. They're the 3 notes you need for an F chord, because any major chord or minor chord have only got 3 notes in it. Although you can play 6 strings sometimes, you've still only got 3 notes in there. So by moving them up, you get the 3 notes that you need for an F chord, but you've still got the E, B and E strings ringing open. So you've moved these up 1 semitone each. So by moving these up in pitch 1 semitone each by barring across, it creates the 3 notes that you need across all 6 strings for an F chord. And as you move up, you create different chords each time, because you're increasing the pitch of each note that you're playing by what's called a semitone. Now, the trick with the bar chord is that your thumb needs to come down. If I just can just get it in shot there, it needs to be about halfway down the back of the guitar, down the back of the neck, and in doing so it makes your wrist drop away, so as it's nearly, not quite, but nearly underneath, straight underneath, in a straight line down from the guitar. And this enables you to get your other 3 fingers, the 3 fretting fingers, not the bar finger, but the 3 fretting fingers, on as near to 90 degrees to the fingerboard as possible, sticking outwards. Otherwise, what happens if you leave your thumb over the top? One is you're not going to get this bar clear, but the other thing is your fingers tend to collapse and you get this dead notes where your fingers are touching the strings below. So, important thing with the bar chord is to drop your thumb about halfway down the back, roughly just behind, in line with your second finger, or in between your first and second fingers, and try not to poke the bar miles up in the air. It just needs to hold the 6 strings down. It just needs to touch on that top E string, and try to avoid getting the joints of your fingers in line with any strings, because that can stop you achieving clarity in the chord. Now, as I've stated, as you move these chords around, you want to try not to over grip with your thumb. Once you've got a nice clean chord, do check all the strings. Once you've got a nice clean chord, you won't get a better sound by squeezing harder, you'll just hurt your hand. So bar chords, when first started, should be practiced little and often, because you can get a bit of a pain down here, and whenever you get a pain with guitar playing, it's better to pack it in and do something else and then come back to it later on. You should never overstrain or cause any pain, because it will stop you from practicing for ages if you let it go too far. So a good way of getting this is to play the E chord with fingers 2, 3 and 4. Just strum down so you've got a nice clean sound. Move it up 1 fret each. That nice Spanishy sound there, and then pop your finger across to give yourself the F chord, and then back again, so as you're not overstraining your bar finger until you get the feel for it. Little and often practice is the answer with this. And just as a brief explanation, as I said, you can play, once you've moved these about, you can, in effect, even forgetting the open chords that you know for the moment, you can play every single major chord by just moving it to different frets. Now, on the website I've got a little picture at the bottom that tells you the name of each of the frets along the E string, and this is called the root note of the chord. Now you're moving this. So the 3rd fret, for example, of the E string is a G note. So if I bar there and play an E-shaped chord, I end up with a G major chord. The 5th fret is an A note, so if I bar there, there's the A note, play an E-shaped chord there, and I'll get an A major chord. The 7th fret is a B. If I play that there, I've got a B major chord, because the root note is B. And the 9th fret is C sharp, so if I hold that note, or D flat, they're the same note. If I hold that down there, bar that down there, play the E major shape, I've got a C sharp major or a D flat major chord. Now, for those of you who don't know, there's as you move up, E, F, F sharp and G flat are the same note as each other. What you call them depends on what key you're in, but that's not too important at the moment. G, G sharp or A flat, same note, A. And the thing to remember is that the notes B and C and E and F do not have a sharp and flat between them. So we go straight from E to F at the 1st fret there, open E, F, and from the 7th fret, that's B, straight to C. There's no B sharp or C flat. Well, not in this case, there isn't anyway. And if you remember that the E and F and B and C do not have a sharp and flat between them, you can work out any chord just remembering that it goes F, F sharp or G flat, G. I won't go into a lot much on this. If you get a chance to print the PDF off the website, and that shows you what the names of the notes are at each fret. A lot of people like to remember the B and C's, burger and chips every Friday. B and C, E and F, burger and chips, B and C, every Friday. E and F do not have a sharp or a flat between them. All the other notes do. What's handy is to probably learn the names of the notes. Most guitars have got dots. Not all guitars have got dots at 3, but most of them have got dots at 5, 7, 9. So 3 you've got G, 5A, 7B, 9 C sharp. And if you want to flatten a note, say A at the 5th fret, if you want to flatten that note, you go back a semitone, back 1 fret, A flat, or G at the 3rd fret. If you want to sharpen, you go up 1 fret, G sharp. So you can gradually get used to, it's probably a good idea to learn the names of the notes of the dots on the E string. You can gradually get used to these names, and in the end you'll be able to play any major chord in any key. But it'll always be a major chord. To turn it into a minor, you have to do exactly the same thing as you would to turn an E chord into an E minor. You don't hold the G string down. So there's my E shape using those 3 fingers. There's my E minor shape using fingers 3 and 4 only. If I move that up a fret and pop the finger across there, leaving the 2nd finger off, I've now got a minor chord. That's F minor, F sharp minor, G minor, G sharp minor or A flat minor, A minor. And if you do get a chance to go on the website, if you look at a song I put up on YouTube a little while ago called Creep, it's by Radiohead. That's a good way of practicing your E-shaped bar chords and getting to learn the names of them. So it's little and often practice, and remember the difference between the major chord and the minor chord is removing that finger. And I'll put some A-shaped bar chord lessons up soon. Hope that's helpful. Thanks very much. Cheers. See you again.